Welcome, everybody, back to Dick's Dorks and Destinies. I'm here with my friends Ken, the Kid, and Crash.
Who is
you
about to
you said
crash?
you said my name like it was a question. The kid.
I mean, it could be a question.
No, I said the Kid. I could have said it like a question like, the Kid? Almost like I wasn't sure if you were here or not.
I'm here. I'm like a bad nightmare. I just never go away.
Oh, we know.
And this episode's about aliens. Speaking about bad nightmares that never go away.
Break out the probate. Here we come.
See, now everyone thinks that probing is a big thing with extraterrestrials and an alien life form, but looking at it from like a genuine point of view, I don't foresee that is actually a thing. Like,
Well,
what are you gonna learn from someone's rectum? Like, let's be honest. You're gonna learn what they ate,
okay.
and
That's probably about what. That's probably what they want to learn.
Chapel, knowing you and your weird food habits, they're gonna be mortified if they find out what you ate.
Probably. But I can actually answer this. The whole probing thing comes from one of the very first abductees, Barney and Betty Hill. And Barney Hill, during a hypnosis testimony, talked about how he had been probed and they had extracted semen from him.
Yeah, you aren't talking about the the interracial Massachusetts couple
Yes.
that were on their way home that got abducted, are you?
Yeah, back in the 60s? No, 50s.
Yep. I know that story all too well. That was a story that my wife decided to play on a road trip out to visit her sister.
I bet that was so comforting. I bet you felt so safe.
I'm like, can we just not?
How was her sister? Was there probing involved?
No, there was no probing involved.
He paused a second on that. He was like, "Do I
Yeah.
tell him about the probing?" No, there was no probing involved.
No.
I'm sorry, I got a little green guy sitting next to me just waving a finger at me.
See, now that's where I definitely believe it would be wrong. I do believe that they would be gray, for the factor of the lack of what is it, the reticulum. They don't have the chemicals inside them, which makes them gray.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, gray, green, pink, purple, whatever. Now, that story, though, however, was interesting because he did say that he was probed and they did take semen from him. His wife even later said that they came into her room freaking the fuck out because they thought they removed his teeth. And he had dentures.
Oh, man, I bet that was scary for the alien doctor. He's just like, "We're just going to inspect this," and oh my god!
I found that comedic while I was driving out to Tulsa.
You just think the doctor, the alien doctor's like, these things, their teeth are like set in their skull. All I gotta do is look at them, and then he's looking at it, and the whole top half just falls down, and he freaks out.
Right.
That's why they're called night teeth. They come out at night.
I'm a gum ya.
Now, as far as all that goes, I mean, we've had countless people come forth, not just those two, but there's been dozens and dozens of people to come forth with their own story People in Alaska were talking about, instead of gray, they were seeing little white men with kind of bulbous like heads.
Yeah. And we've got several different kinds of different extraterrestrials now too, including isn't there like a lizard group as well?
Yes. Our own lovely historians have confirmed that we are descendants of two alien races that landed here on Earth.
Hang on now, we're not getting into the Scientology stuff yet. That's a different episode.
Yeah, I mean there has always been numerous reports. There were reports dating back before Roswell. There have been, and then the reports just seem to have gotten larger, way larger after the Roswell incident.
Yeah, it was almost like Roswell just kind of kicked everything off.
Right. And now some of that, we got to divulge the factor of after the Roswell incident. Obviously, a few of these stories were most definitely just made up for publicity after Roswell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the ones that I believe that were the truth tellers, those were the people that you saw them the day before their abduction, and then when you see them after, it's as if they had changed completely of what kind of person they were. They were just altered so dramatically mentally. And now, could that be from a traumatizing effect of the abduction? Most possibly. Or could it also have been something that did the aliens alter them
Right.
on purpose for studying reasons or to divulge information?
Right. Do you think the aliens take requests on that? Like, can you just be
No.
like,
No.
No, we can't turn you into a highly attractive male, Chapel. That's not possible. Trust me.
And there's no, and you can't have the Harry Potter spell of longest dongus.
Wingardium Leviosa.
You are both buzzkills, okay? I just want to say that right now. You are both buzzkills. Fuck y'all.
And in the factor of so we've already stated, little green men, white alien reticulums, gray. It kind of makes you wonder what if they could be either A, different types, or B, what if their skin almost works like a chameleon in a way to help them in performing these abductions or stuff like that? Because, I mean, we've looked at the factor of, okay, so we'll take the UFOs, for example.
Right.
A lot of people will say that, when they actually see a UFO, it's for a very, very faint second, and then it's almost as if it just disappears. What if that's the same? Their UFOs run on the same type of stuff that the extraterrestrials do in themselves? What if it's like a sort of natural camouflage for them?
And that whole retrospect, that's where I'm going to tie into the old cartoon movie Chicken Little. Cloaking abilities and camouflage. I would believe that.
Absolutely.
Okay. But okay, counter argument for that. Okay, if they have that technology, why bother even coming out of that cloak?
Well, that I believe that would be simple. I mean,
It could be further on into that technology that they would have to come out of that cloak to not obliterate the biological specimen that they're trying to collect.
Maybe that's possible.
or what if they want to be seen? Like, what if they actually want you to know that
I mean,
when they're
that's a
coming, that their
possibility too.
presence is there? Because let's look at a fear factor standpoint.
Okay.
You're at home, in bed, right?
Mhm.
And you hear something, but you can't see anything. You're naturally gonna like freak out a lot more because it's the unknown versus you're in bed, you see the light or whatever it happens to be, and then you start seeing figures. You're still going to be alarmed by all means, but your body is going to react a very different way.
I
Right.
mean,
And you're not going to be as frightful or fighting, because if you can see something, you have a less chance of fearing it.
okay.
I mean, you got that one too, but also that goes into the story that Chapel was talking about with the hills. They seen a light in the sky, and that light followed them, and then that light disappeared, and they got into the whole flight or fight mode, and they fucking went into flight and was running from this, and no matter how fast their car went, that light stayed right on top of them.
Yeah.
Right.
So
I
they
mean,
could they could come out of the cloaking also just to invoke fear, just because they want your endorphins, your adrenaline, everything at the highest that it could possibly be. By the time that they take you, and hell, you know what? I know we're still on that subject, but probe you.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look, if I see some people approaching me and I realize they're probably going to probe me, my first reaction is going to be, what, no reach around? But they're probably going to be upset about that.
Probably a little bit. Speaking of and even going back to the probing thing. Now, granted, yes, there have, of course, been reports of that happening, but after they've been visiting for so long, do you believe that the probing is like still a constant, or have they already gathered that specific information, and are they conducting other experiments?
Well, there is another individual, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, who his encounters started when he was in his early adolescence and continued through his, I think, mid-50s. And he reported being visited by a female alien on multiple occasions, where the female alien had sex with him with the intention with the intention of getting pregnant. According to his own testimony, he was supposedly had multiple hybrid children with this woman, or with this female alien.
Right.
See, that goes right into the whole thing of alien races being on this planet, and we've not really known about it, but we know about it.
So part of the reason
I'm not going to say it's not possible, but it's about as probable as people still claiming that Elvis Presley's alive. He's just on a fucking alien spaceship.
Hey, we already got the testimony from the Men in Black, Tommy Lee Jones himself. Elvis didn't die. He just went home.
He just went home. Jesus. Okay,
I mean,
Squirrely Dan.
that's not your husband. That's just a giant cockroach in an Egger suit.
Yeah.
He just wants some sugar water.
Just want some sugar water.
Just sugar water.
Just sugar water.
Just more sugar water.
Just more sugar water. We're not going to talk about what that sugar water actually is.
Yeah. Yeah, don't worry about the trippy side effects.
Right.
But no, so, and some of the other things is when it comes to alien abductions, what about the other reports of when people are getting abducted and when the light hits them, they almost feel tranquil, like they can't move.
It's almost like a deer in the headlights effect, like when you shine your light in the deer's eyes at night, and the deer just stop and look at you because they're not sure how to react.
Right. So we have stuff like that, and also reported with time stopping, the alteration of time itself.
Whole like hours missing out of your memory. You don't know. You can't recount for those hours. They're just
Well, and
gone.
not even that, but then like, okay, so we'll go ahead and use we'll just go ahead and use the X-Files as an example. Some of their earliest work before they really started adding all the CGI'd aliens and crap like that.
Yeah.
Because fact of the matter is, the X-Files was actually originally, when it first started, was based off of unexplained phenomena in actual case file work that just never got finished and never got explained because it all hit cold case.
Yeah.
Right.
There was the reports that time would stop, your electrical devices would stop working, and of course mass amnesia.
Yeah, you couldn't remember the giant orgy you took part of.
Chapel,
Hey,
I'm telling you, buddy, you're the only one trying to have a giant orgy with an extraterrestrial right now.
There he goes again, giant orgy.
Put longest dongus away, okay?
Right.
I'll make the attempt.
Save it for Sunday fun day.
Sunday
Yeah,
fun day?
I cast reduce on Chapel's longest dongus.
Oh.
So.
Also, we need to dial back his Caligula aspects.
No doubt. This is going to turn into a standard stream about aliens into Chapel's hentai room. I'm sorry, Chapel. That's not what the title of our group is called here, this podcast. So save that for a different group, buddy.
You know what? I would agree, but the first word in our podcast is dicks.
That's your fault.
I know.
No, I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that he was severely attracted to the three-breasted alien from Total Recall.
That or Paul.
Look, I'm not the only one, okay? There's a long list of other people who were attracted to those ladies. Thank you.
Howard Wolowitz is not real.
Okay, let's get back to the probing.
Of course, that's where you want to go back to.
Because he wants to do the probing.
Oh boy.
So, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead.
I was about to ask where were we at? Because you were explaining something, or you were getting to a point.
Yeah, so the
I,
point is with the time stopping and all of these phenomenons that happen, and also reported of minor radiation as well, which could be expected for, if a giant flying ship is above you, especially looking at the year dates. It's the real question is so as we notice society is starting to not it the existence of extraterrestrials is not as shocking to society anymore.
No, in fact, it's
Um,
almost like you look at like how much of the universe or how much of our own galaxy we've explored, and it's almost like an 8-ounce cup compared to the ocean. And it's like, well, we haven't even searched enough to even know if there's anything out there or not. But
that
there are some theories out there that is like, okay, so either there are aliens and they're extremely hostile. There are aliens and they're benign, which means they're ignoring us because they think we're crazy, which is quite the possibility.
mhm.
Or we're alone and that's it.
I mean, that's the thing is we've also become completely desensitized to the whole alien life form, extraterrestrial, everything. Because we speculate, we've had Hollywood speculate so much for so long, and not just Hollywood. I mean, even famous writers. Orson Welles, he was masterful in creating alien life forms and extraterrestrials in his writing. So we
Right.
all grew up with that. So it's just like, okay, great, aliens exist. Woohoo! Our government is now admitting aliens exist. We've known this for years. Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, it's almost like
I'm
thanks for catching up with the rest of us.
right. I also want to look at it from a technological standpoint because um, I do believe that so if we take a look at the time periods, especially after we're going to go back to Roswell for a minute. Remember what we had in the way of technology right before Roswell. And then you take a look at the severe advances that we started coming out with after Roswell. I do
Yeah.
fully believe that we'll use the B-52 bomber, the stealth bomber, as a prime example. We did not have the technology whatsoever to make such a design because we were still just starting to understand airplanes, aerodynamics, and fighter jets. Those are loud, extremely loud devices. But
Yeah.
then all of a sudden Roswell comes in, and then we started crafting stealth bombers. These machines that by the time if you saw it, you were already dying or dead. Because next thing you knew, this shape, which actually still could be, if you think about it, on some of the old photographs people would take of these UFOs, didn't they look kind of similar to what some of our aircraft designs are now?
Well, that's the thing is some of those old photos of where they were taking that people were swearing up and down, left, right, sideways. It's a UFO. It's a UFO. No, what you captured was a top secret military transportation vehicle that the U.S. government didn't want you to know about.
At certain points, yes, but what about in all the areas like what's that place? Lake Okoboji, where there is no military anything within hundreds of miles. But yet people would swear up and down at night they would see these UFOs hovering or moving across the lake.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Uh,
my question, because I want to move forward a little bit here. My question for the two of you is: have you guys seen the Tic Tac video, or are you familiar with it?
which video?
It's a video from November of 2004 where two F-18 pilots recorded a 5-minute video of a unidentified object off the coast
Yep,
of the
I've
U.S.
seen it.
They track it, and then at one point during the video, it leaves their sight and appears instantaneously 60 miles away.
Yeah, I've seen it.
I can't say that I've seen that one, but yeah, I mean it's definitely a believable video for knowing any of the knowledge on how some of this technology could even theorize work.
Yeah. The reason I bring it up is it was brought up in a Senate meeting a couple weeks ago, and they had some of the officers and the military people come in and report on it, and they said that when they first spotted it, it was 80,000 feet up, and the guy reporting goes, for those who don't know, that's outer space. That's not here on Earth. That's space. And he goes,
80,000 feet. That's outside of our own. That's outside of our hemisphere.
Yeah. He goes, and it dropped from 80,000 feet down to 20,000 feet in just a couple seconds. That kind of speed, just so we're clear here, that kind of speed goes from like New York to LA in 2 seconds or 2 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, and it was able to stop without crashing right into the ground,
Yeah.
or exploding
Yeah.
on just the pure velocity
Yeah.
alone.
It was able to stop immediately. It went from its speed to a dead stop, no slowing down, just stops immediately at 20,000 feet. And the water underneath it's churning. Almost like there's something underneath the water that it's responding to.
Gee, hey, you think maybe that the extraterrestrials, the reason their heads are always reported so large and their necks are a little wonky is because of that? You think like it's just severe whiplash and
I never thought about it that way. I mean, you're pulling some serious G's, and then you go from that to an instantaneous stop. I could see it.
Yeah, well, they had asked him if a human could do that, and he's like, no, that would kill anybody.
Oh yeah, we'd literally crumble and just implode and explode right on the ground.
Yeah. So, and there's another thing I wanted to bring up. I didn't know this until a little while ago. Did you guys know that NASA used to run a sea exploration division?
I had heard mentions about some of their other explorations, but not enough to actually be able to divulge any information.
But then I can't remember when it was, but it was in, I want to say, 78. They just abruptly, without any fanfare, without any news, without a reason, they just stopped the whole project. They killed it immediately. No reason why, no reporting on it, and it's just they just stop exploring the ocean and immediately go to outer space.
I think my audio cut out for a moment. I didn't catch who you were talking about did the sea exploration.
NASA.
NASA.
NASA?
Yeah.
Uh, I don't ever recall hearing anything about it, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past them.
I mean, it was in the 70s, but then in like 78, one day they just stopped doing it. They just
It was the Illuminati.
Gosh, that was last week's session, buddy. What where have you been?
It's all the same.
the Illuminati was like, nope, you're going to stop that right now.
You know, and actually, this isn't the first time I've heard of NASA just abruptly stopping a project. Like, there was a lot of the whole, with the race of bringing men to outer space, or bringing people to outer space, that you noticed after a little while, like all of those projects just stopped. Like people are no longer going out there unless it's for something really important, but now they just send drones and robots. And I remember that because I'm not gonna lie, when I was a kid, my dream was to work for NASA. I had always wanted to, and then they stopped taking people in because all these projects that they were doing just all of a sudden one day just stopped.
I find that odd.
No, I mean, that's just like the whole thing with the SpaceX program with Elon Musk, that he was looking to colonize Mars, and now that's just, he stopped that.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that too. That was like a big deal. Like that was just the talk of the time for what, a good couple years, and then it just stopped.
Yeah.
No one's heard anything since, and no one talks about it anymore.
So, as it turns
So
out,
maybe our alien overlords who control the Illuminati came down and said, y'all can't do it, fuck off, we leave you to the earth, you all cannot venture outside your all's playground.
See, now I would believe that. However, if that were truly the case too, then wouldn't we have to stop sending out our robotic drones to the other planets?
I mean, they can fuck with electrical signals, so.
I suppose that would be fair, yeah. I mean, with all the reports of even just abduction alone. But here's my biggest question. Why are we only sending stuff to Mars? What's up with the other planets?
Well, this goes from astronomy standpoint alone. We can't send anything to Mercury or Venus without it get vaporized, because the intensity of our sun/star, like the scientists are still baffled that Mercury still exists because of how close it is to the sun in its orbit.
Right. But what about some
Venus,
of the farther planets?
They're saying Venus is so gaseous and everything else, like, and corrosive, that nothing that we can create currently can survive that atmosphere.
So,
as far as everything past the asteroid belt, good luck navigating that minefield.
Well, okay, so there's two big issues. First is that Mars is the only other planet, and I may be wrong about this, I'll have to check, but from what I understand, Mars is the only other planet inside what we call the habitation zone. That's the zone inside the solar system where life can exist. It's not very big, and Earth and Mars are the only two planets that fit in that. Everything else is either too hot or too cold.
At least
I
that
wouldn't
we
say
know of.
that. I would okay. I'll give you that one, and I would agree that Saturn would be too cold, but Jupiter is like 10 times the size of Earth.
Jupiter and Saturn are also gas giants and don't really have any surface other than a core that holds those gases in place. The only reason why we even bother with Jupiter is because it has so many moons that have possible.
Okay, so you've got a planet has moons that could possibly hold life.
Support colonies.
Right.
We don't believe that they hold life, but we do think that they could support colonies at some point.
That's what I was getting at with holding life, is that some of Jupiter's moons can support our life if we went there and colonized it. But I mean, Saturn I would say would probably be too cold. You get out to Neptune, definitely. Pluto is no longer a planet, is more of a dwarf celestial body.
It's a small planet. I don't care what.
That always made me curious. We were so curious about Pluto for the longest time, and then one day, that whole "it's not a planet anymore" thing changed, and now we don't study it at all.
And no one wants to visit Uranus, so.
No, you definitely don't want to visit Chapel's anus. That's when he's talking about cracking the porcelain, he's really trying.
So just so we're clear here, the average temperature on Mars is negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
But
negative 80?
Negative 80.
But yet, then there's still standard water that evaporates. How does that make sense?
Well, no, there's no water on the surface. There's water underneath the surface, and there's ice caps, but there's no water on the surface of Mars.
So if we colonized Mars, we wouldn't live on the surface. We would be Earth. We would be moles.
Pretty much.
Live underground.
We would either be moles, or we would have to either find a way to warm up the atmosphere, or we would have to live in large artificial constructs like
greenhouse
domes.
Gases.
Yeah.
Let me pull out all the alien comic books here, and let's see what we got about terraforming.
We would become polyshore and live in a biodome.
Yeah, like we would have to live in a biodome, or we would have to find a way to heat up the atmosphere to a reasonable temperature. Because I don't know about you, but up here where we live at, it's negative 40 during the winters, and that's too fucking cold for me. So double that at negative 80 is also too fucking cold for me.
I know about your winters with my profession, and I've gone through those frozen tundra states. So yes, minus negative 80. that is a no thank you.
Yeah.
Get a Mr. Heater and 40, stop complaining.
So
minus negative 40 is bad enough.
Yeah.
So
okay, so here's
I found something out that correlates with that. Our degree of Fahrenheit with minus negative 40 is the exact same thing over in Celsius.
Yeah.
Like that is where Celsius and Fahrenheit cross paths equally.
Yeah. I actually think that's kind of funny, but funny enough, so Mercury has an average temperature of 333 degrees Fahrenheit, and Venus has an average temperature of 867 degrees Fahrenheit.
How?
Yeah, that's way.
How does Mercury, the closest planet to the sun, have less of a temperature
Than
than
my oven.
most standard ovens, and Venus like doubles it?
Venus has a
It's-
thicker atmosphere.
I think it would have to do something with the fact of it's got to be the rotation. Like how fast are these planets rotating?
I'm not sure, but I can look it up.
Because from a standpoint, alone, I suppose if you were to rotate something fast enough, you can keep the temperature cooled off enough, because then you have enough surface area that's not being directly hit by the sun.
Right. Well, I know that regardless of the speed of the rotation, Mercury has a standard year of a day. It does a rotation around the sun every 24 hours.
Okay.
All right.
So, and if that's rotating that way, what's the rotation of the planet itself? How fast is it moving? Like spinning? Because you got to remember that each of our planets, not only is it moving around the sun, but our planet is also moving in its own as well.
If it's moving around the sun in our day, in a 24-hour day to us, it's got to be doing some type of spinny top.
So actually, because it's so close, it actually its days are slow. Its rotation is extremely slow. So, let me see here.
So but yet it's still remaining cooler than
because
than the other planet.
The spin. Yeah. So a day for Mercury is 59 of our days.
One day is 59 of our days, so we get to bake in the sun for like 2 months.
59 days, yeah. For literally 2 months.
Or if you're actually on Mercury, 59 years.
Holy shit.
Man, I'm going to get a good tan. Extra crispy.
Okay, so let's check on Venus. One day on Venus lasts 243 days on Earth.
The fuck?
Yeah. So that would definitely explain the heat fluctuation then for sure.
Because I'm pretty sure I think the main difference between the two is that Venus is actually smaller than Mercury.
I thought Mercury was smaller than Venus.
No, Mercury's closer, but I think Venus is the smallest of all the planets.
Okay, so it's got less. It's got less surface area, so that would make the temperature a lot hotter.
Not only that, but because it's so small, the sun slows down its rotation further.
I mean, it takes us
the sun is
23. It takes us 23 hours and. It takes us 23 hours and 56 minutes to make a full rotation, so...
Yeah. Funny enough...
Thank you, Neil Tyson DeGrassi, on that one.
Funny enough, think about it like this. What if there's aliens out there that are almost Cthulhu, like Lovecraft-esque, in how large they are? Like, something so large it eats planets for sustenance.
Okay. So in that aspect, we're nothing more than its fucking semen load.
We could be. We boneless children.
But no, I get where you're coming from on that, because I mean, I've always struggled with aliens and extraterrestrials. Like, everyone's like, oh, they come to our planet, they visit our. Oh, well, I want to know why. Why do they come here? What is the purpose to come here? We are not the best and brightest in the universe. I'm pretty sure there's others that are far more fascinating than we are.
Yeah. Well,
especially if it is true, if we actually did send out a probe of our own that held basic human history and our knowledge, like, because there were never any reports that any of that had been received or that anything has ever caught sight of that. And if that ends up being the case, but yet the aliens or the extraterrestrials still come here, why didn't they just pick up what we had already sent out? And then they got what they got the knowledge. So
I mean,
that would be the real question.
Didn't we do that already with our little probing satellite that, or I think it was called like the Prometheus or some bullshit like that?
the Voyager program, is that what you're talking about?
Yes,
that's
yes,
it.
the Voyager program.
Okay,
It
okay.
contained music and knowledge, and
We actually have an update on that, a recent update. Recently, the one Voyager, I believe it was Voyager 1, picked up a cluster of objects around 300 strong. We don't know where that cluster came from because they're already outside the solar system. The idea is that there was a malfunction. We're not sure what happened there, but there is a theory that something came across the Voyager probe, an intelligence outside of our solar system, found it, and intentionally wrote or caused a malfunction inside that was not like not a catastrophic malfunction, but a malfunction that we didn't expect to send us a message that that something had found it, but we're not sure what, and we don't know exactly what's going on with that.
Chapel, hold on a second. Crash, are you sleeping, buddy?
No. I think he did fall asleep, but I muted him.
I'll
that's some snoring.
I'll pose this question. Instead of it being, what we call aliens,
mm-hmm.
and the whole Voyager program and everything else, what if it's not aliens, but in fact a multiverse?
Oh man, now we're breaking into some serious topic here.
Well, hang on, because the thing is regardless of whether we're talking about multiverses or not, you would have to find a way into that other multiverse. A multiverse would be a split off section of reality, where you have two branching realities that originated from the same one. There's evidence that might be the case, but we don't know that for sure. The only thing we have for that is theories.
You could tie that into, and of course it's another theory, but you could tie that into the whole wormhole black hole effect.
Yep.
Because you can go in, but no one's ever reported of there being an end.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, have you guys heard of white holes?
I'm trying not to make a.
You're trying not to be me right now? Is that what you're trying not to do?
I'm trying not to be you.
The audio cut out on me again, so...
Have you ever
heard
of...
holes.
Yeah, have you ever heard of a white hole?
A white hole?
A white hole.
Um. Okay.
You're
I'm gonna be
trying not to
serious.
be me too. I get it. It's okay.
Right.
Yeah, we're all trying not to think what Chapel is thinking inside that sick head of his.
So funny enough, a white
Uh,
hole, theoretically, a white hole is a massive energy that instead of sucking in mass the way a black hole does, it's constantly putting mass out into the galaxy.
Yeah, that's where I after I got out of your brain, that's where I was going to. It's supposed to be the opposite of a black hole.
Yeah.
Black hole is what's supposed to be spitting everything back out.
Yeah.
So
You cut out for a second there, but I think we got the gist of it. You were saying that a black hole sucks everything in, whereas a white hole spits everything out.
yeah,
So my question is, what if the two are connected? What if the black hole is the entrance and the white hole is the exit?
I would say you got a sick orgy there, Chapel, that you finally wanted.
right. But no, seriously, I mean that could be the explanation as to why they why they go into that theory that nothing ever survives a black hole.
Right, because it's
Right.
just it's a massive gravity.
It's a massive gravity. You stick in. I'm just gonna say, you put in a steel ball, and the white hole spits out a steel cube. That ball is no longer the same.
Right.
Right, due to the composition of the drastic change that happens in between. But what if,
Well,
and just a theory, but what if that could be how like if extraterrestrials do come around, what if that's their actual travel point? Like, what
could
if
be
that's
their
that's
travel
what they
point.
actually use to
That
travel
could also
between?
explain the bulbous heads and everything else.
It could just be a sidestep from a natural phenomenon of the molecular composition that happens between those states.
True. And that is a good theory. And I pose another theory to you. So, one of the guys that was supposedly a whistleblower for Area 52, I'm sorry, Area 51, said that the extraterrestrials that he spoke with told him that their bodies were not their real bodies, that they were just artificial things that had been created for space travel, that their bodies were back home, and that what they did was they pulled their soul out of their body, put it into this artificial body that they had made for space travel to go around the galaxy, because that body had been made to withstand the radiation and all the various
Okay,
physics
so
required
now
to do that.
our aliens and extraterrestrials are breaking into anime and becoming mod souls
I mean, we could
and being
say
stuffed
that.
into key guys.
We could say
Hey,
that,
if we got the capability to make Gi guys, then I want a new Gi guy. Thank you very much.
Yeah, me
This one
too.
sucks.
Me too.
Right.
I need a better body. Damn it,
This one's-
Biden! I
this
want to
one-
build back better.
this one's a little used and abused. I need a new fresh one.
Yeah, I need a different one, please. Thank you. You need my address? I gave that to you. Just send me one.
Illuminati, we need you to get right on that. We really
God damn
appreciate it.
No, like the depths of space itself, it really is like the one truest mystery that mankind has not even come close to even unlocking. And unfortunately, I don't see that happening anywhere or anytime soon either.
Definitely not in our lifetime.
Oh God, no.
And honestly, I'm gonna have to refer back to H.P. Lovecraft on this. I think we live on a tiny blue island in a great void, and the tiny little area around us is very placid, and it was never meant for us to venture far.
Well,
That goes
it
right
very
in.
well could be, yeah.
That ties right back into what I've said, that our alien overlords have shut down these programs because we're not allowed to venture outside of our playpen.
So I'm gonna go ahead and throw out a good question. It's kind of a crack at you religious buffs out there too.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate that. Bring it
You're
on.
welcome. You're welcome. So, there's talk that the alien overlords, as the kid over there says, what if they were the ones that created us, right? Now, here's the real posing question. If they created us, who in the hell created them?
Maybe it's a parentage, like for every successful created race, you go down the line, and that race eventually becomes advanced enough to create a new race, and they're slowly. What it is we're slowly trying to develop a race of perfection.
Okay, but then who created the original? Where did the original come from?
It's a good question. Maybe the original is the only one that actually was natural to the galaxy.
The sun. The sun's an alien.
The sun's an alien. Okay,
The sun's an alien.
kid, you were going to reply.
The sun's an alien, and it skeeted all over the fucking universe. Okay.
Skate, motherfucker.
Oh, he says it and it's fine, but I say it and I need to turn myself down.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. Look, out of anyone here, you are the most.
I'm listening.
I'm just gonna go ahead. Yeah, I'm just gonna go out and say you are the most adolescent, horniest child in this entire group. Like any chance you get.
You're the largest, squirreliest Dan we've got.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's the nicest thing you've said to me since we started this podcast. That is so nice of you to say.
There's a dude. He's the squirrely Dan that is actually sitting there going, "Do you know if she's making pickled eggs or pickled anything?" Mind you, there are no wrong answers.
Yeah. Yeah. Is she pickling anything? Because she could pickle me.
Oh Jesus! See, Chapel's the guy that really wants to get abducted by extraterrestrials. But the thing is, he's gonna be the one probing them, and they're gonna be afraid.
That's the point I would be making too. Because if he got abducted, we're doomed. Because they're going to be just terrified that all of humanity is just like him, and we're just a giant hornbag.
You guys act like I would give you a bad name. I would not do that. At first.
Uh-huh. I was waiting for that. I purposefully kept silent.
I'm going to say this in response. 2 words.
Okay.
Chinese restaurant.
Hey. Listen. I love doing that with a fortune cookie, okay?
Yeah. Oh my God.
Like I said,
Oh,
Chinese
Jesus.
restaurant.
What does this look like you? What does this look like to you?
Yeah, you did
Oh,
say that to me.
Up till now, it looked like a fortune cookie. I cannot look at fortune cookies the same
No,
anymore.
you can't. You're welcome. He ruined that for me a while ago.
Oh, he ruined that for me like 10 years ago.
What was really bad was when I asked the Chinese waitress if she knew what it looked like.
Oh,
Chapel.
God. I'm surprised we didn't get kicked out.
That's just because we paid our bill and left immediately after I asked that. She was blushing, though.
Well, everybody, this is Dick's, Dorks, and Destinies. This is probably going to be our last session due to demonetization, thanks to Chapel.
I don't know what you're talking about. We have to get monetized first.
What are
They
they going
won't
to
let us.
demonetize? We're not getting money. We're not getting paid for this.
Oh, God.
We're gonna have to pay them.
Yeah. Sir, if you even want to stay going, you need to pay us, because this is bad.
It's going to be like...
We don't condone that
Listen,
here.
guys, this is going to totally work out. It's going to be like Happy Gilmore. Spotify is going to be the angry dude who's tiny and really short, and like we can't have him on the tour. And Spotify is going to be like, we can't have their podcast on our platform. And then their people are going to be like, but they're getting rave reviews. People are just playing the shit out of their fucking shows.
Look, the only reason you're even quoting Happy Gilmore right now is because you forced me to watch it recently.
That's not true.
That is true.
That's not true, because I forced someone else to watch it recently too.
Oh my God.
Was it me? I remember that film all too well.
Jesus. Well, then leave. I'm sorry, I didn't mean that. Come on back up.
I want to touch you all over. No.
Alright, beep.
The price is wrong, bitch.
All right.
Oh my God.
Well, everybody, this has been another episode of Dick, Storks, and Destinies. We really hope you enjoy our show. Please subscribe and follow, and we'll hit you up when we have a Patreon.
If you don't subscribe and follow, we're sending Chapel to your house to anally probe you.
Whoa,
come on now.
whoa.
Whoa. That's not true, folks. That is not true.
That is not true.
However, Chapel will probably do something embarrassing. That'll probably happen.
Yeah, I can't even argue with that. That's probably going to be a thing. All right. Thanks for listening, guys.